First of all, any come our channel so age protect Albany. On your podcast was a trendy app, a make with making headlines na genre na it be exumo. On your yambo in ra yensim na Afenyo Markins on your ono ankasa a confess say obusa 10 million Ghana cedi efree Sammy fi ho na se sika no na ode ko ako kame eye minority o kame wo mu down se de be ya omu se de omu sibia hate efa Goldbod ho no omu jiska na ja na omu ache na omu adi nka omu atimi aka omu ano atum ewo ho onua eno na ye project eye flyer no dia to screen so edi ama wo o say I requested for only 10 million Ghana cedi to go and calm the minority down in parliament. Onia ne de ohono no shock say yemumra yensimwan abra Kevin Taylor ajemre na ono so everisa to be irigu Afenyo Markins eso
the issue time Afenyo Markin a call good evening Ghana so endra me catch them Ghana for me catch them say the best thing Afenyo Markin obetuma aye and the things he does anytime he fucks up is to play the victim. Even when he went on Metro TV or on the MPP, another MPP member, the issue, Nankasa Goldbod issue, Afenyo Markin on TSC. He could not even make a case. He could not explicitly explain the issues for people to understand the reason why he is making that noise and attacking Sammy Jemfi. On the Siano, MPP for West Stadium. I'm talking point at the moment say I Sammy Jemfi also TSC position onya eni so attack Afenyo Markin and moi Afenyo Markin show for me wa Afenyo Markin nen tohwa ogu na hem oya nan wa bo one dam I Sammy Jemfi attacked Afenyo Markin Sammy Jemfi the already into to one sorry Afenyo Markin nen tohwa ya nan into mamenko attack and moi. You see they have moved away from the substance. They have moved away from the report. Afenyo Markin had every opportunity to explain to Ghanaians reports why he is saying Goldbod and Abobisia Aboka. He could not do it. Into right now, so steady conversation. TV so Sammy Jemfi muadie yama utumia. It is not about Sammy Jemfi muadie. When I give power to somebody, that's all ye jumana. Media a joanam de man we to deliver. Ekufuado wana ejimi omuade enche Ekufuado sanko deliver yanko bi anka ejimi no anamebwa Mahmoud ba omia wana e junkie che no wana e comedian che no sanko deliver yanko refi comedy no. So you need to understand it is not about Sammy Jemfi sa na wenyini and I responded to Afenyo Markin. Sammy Jemfi spoke on the matter and reacted to that Afenyo Markin statement. And so we study the MPP communicators. Oma track momo Mama Obianko can't report in Wasem. Right now, what you need to do is go and say Sammy Jemfi does not respect. Now, if Sammy Jemfi does not respect that, do I care? They may care about this. The books, everything is intact. That is what I care about. So, one problem. You people are foolish. You cannot make any state. Mumianko tie Afenyo Markin. Namin chadi muntieno. Endra oko eye right wing for no Paul Adomotri. The teenage winner is Paul Adomotri. He will, that is what every narcissist does. Every criminal, every thief. What they do is they cause problems and they will come and cry foul. They will come and play the victim. Okotina Metro Endrano. Have you seen any of their communicators speak on Afenyo Markin's the submission on Metro TV? No, because it lacked substance. It lacked substance. They could not pick on the things he was saying. It did not have any evidence. So even at their chin, almost so-called minority leader on the assembly, they cannot speak around it because the guy is stupid. He doesn't understand the matter. It was a personal thing against Sammy Jemfi. In terms of their chin, you could not get any of their people say Afenyo Markin now broke the thing down. Now, per Afenyo Markin statement, they can say it. Because Afenyo Markin at the end on TSC. So what he's going to do is he's playing the victim. So what's na Andrew Kwatina Metro 99% he is a victim. They are insulting me. That guy is an actor. He's a blackmailer and a extortionist. Now muntie how confused he sounded. Listen to him.
Let me give you the breakdown. One, the government has given an impression that there is always an economic cost to implementing a policy. I agree that there is always an economic cost. The Goldbod itself, in responding to us, argued that their activities have helped stabilize the city. That is what they said.
Yeah.
That they've sold so much gold and that has helped stabilize the city. Now, by that expression, they are suggesting that Ghanaians should forget about the costs and look at the benefits. But what the IMF is saying, that upon analysis of the whole transaction, the whole policy, the gaps they find, the loopholes, the weakness in the policy itself, okay, makes them conclude that the losses are as a result of some other inefficiencies.
They mentioned some of
It's
them.
there. Yes, that's the list they provided.
Okay, take us through it.
Oh, again, right. So they said exchange rate losses from the spread between Forex Bureau rate paid to purchase gold and the city reference rate used for BOG accounting. And
what problem is that?
What they are basically,
So you
the
buy
analysis,
you take the money from BOG in cedis,
right?
Then you buy dollar rates from the gold people,
And then when they
say it's very expensive in the
right.
Okay, go on.
So they are saying that these accounting losses partly reflect valuation effect rather than economic costs. I just want to stay there and make some explanation. You see, they've always argued that there is always an economic cost, which I say I concede. That in implementing any policy,
like free SHS,
you would incur some cost. But the IMF is indicting that, questioning that position. Is indicting them by saying that these losses are not as a result of the economic cost that you want Ghanaians to believe. That yes, you are implementing, but at a cost. They are rather identifying that in the value chain of the transaction, certain challenges that you yourself, by way of your policy, you could not put in place to help you manage the whole program. The next point, the argument of the Goldbod chief executive is to the effect that these losses have nothing to do with Goldbod.
Yes, he makes that point.
Right. And that it's entirely the responsibility of Bank of Ghana. I would address both. One, it is factually inaccurate to argue that the losses are not attributable to Goldbod. Why do I say so? I draw my fortification from the report. In the report, the IMF says that losses accrued on gold trades are a combination of service and asset fees paid to gold. Let me give you the breakdown.
So, more MP before I mutie no, what you say? More MP before I kwasi afọ na mutie leader no, more the kind of what you say. At the end of the day, he could not prove that economic cost is a loss. So if he cannot prove that economic cost is a loss, then it means nobody can say Goldbod made a loss. On one case from the beginning, or admit say what we call economic cost, it's never a loss. But do you know what he's trying to do? Inside the economic cost, he is trying to infuse a loss in there. And that is, in his own wisdom, he thinks, because IMF is speaking in general terms about economic loss or cost. Now, if they speak in general about economic cost, it means that whatever was recorded during that activity, that policy implementation, there are things that are major, things that are minor. There are the major problems and minor problems. Now, if the World Bank or IMF identifies that the activities at the end of the day are all economic cost, you cannot go inside and say, because assaying is not part of the economic cost. Selling at this rate is no. it moves together. Now, what he is trying to do is he's trying to isolate things in the report that will suit his argument. Now, if you have agreed that economic cost is not loss, then you cannot blame the Goldbod for making losses. All that you can look at is, did Goldbod make the loss? No, but they made profit, yes, and that is the profit they made. Now, your question should go to the World Bank, Bank of Ghana. Now, if you want to ask any questions about losses in the economic cost, it is Bank of Ghana that needs to answer the question. But why are you posing your question to the Goldbod? It is because the agenda is that let us try. Try ni to Sammy Jemfiso na MPP muano kwa bonto kasi Sammy Jemfia boka. That is basic. That is what they are trying to do. Anything on one kasa or the brofon area no. But while accept say there's economic cost in implementing a policy, then it means it is big. You cannot pick one thing and say this is the only thing that is the cost in implementing a policy. There are so many factors or activities that comes together to build an economic cost. Now you cannot go in there and take some out and say wait there and count away count. No, you don't do that. Now if at the end of the day economic cost does not tell you say Goldbod has made a loss, then the economic cost, you need to direct it to the Bank of Ghana. Why have they moved away from the Bank of Ghana? It is all about economic cost. What IMF said. The IMF, they don't sell our gold for us. The negotiation between Goldbod and IMF and Bank of Ghana, it is not the IMF who determines when gold should be bought and when gold should be sold. They don't determine that. They sit behind and watch activities and sometimes they assume. So IMF coming out to tell us, say, economic cost, that you said no because you say, oh, and it's what back a Goldbod about now why so wait Jimmy. That is the thing. And it's no kasa we no on one call for no could not pick anything to say, okay, we any assembly when they can't because they are trying to run away from Bank of Ghana Afenyo Markin 10 million. He took the money. And then he will come and say, you didn't attempt. Oh, Obi Didimatem, JH Mensa Obwa, that is what he does. Odi Bonia, no Akoshe Chiosi, Mayakwa, and Confo Didimatem, or your Cromfo. Now listen to this thief again. You know, kind. When
we say losses from a report like that, do we mean the IMF identified X amount of money went into the Goldbod, the domestic purchase program, and X amount of money came out, and the difference is 1.7 billion. Is that what it means?
They have summarized that, in effect, the trading activity in the whole transaction value chain, and they've listed all the fees and charges,
yes, I guess
all of it combined to be.
But their starting point is a certain amount of money that was committed to this. Is that not their starting point?
No, that's not what they've said. They have rather given you a total amount of losses incurred, which amounted to $1.7 billion, equivalent of 22 billion.
What are they subtracting from to get the losses?
Obviously, if they look at your transaction.
So they see how much money you put in it.
And yes.
And how much money you got out of it. And the difference
is what the losses that they have.
The loss. Okay, correct, I get that. So there's a clear loss on, you took 100 cedis into this project. You are bringing back 70 cedis. So there's a 30 cedi loss. Now, that loss, you are saying that as a minority, you concede that a policy may have losses. But this particular loss, you are saying that has been attributed to, I don't think dereliction of duty, but attributed to certain things that were not...
It's policy failure.
Policy failure.
Because
so these losses are attributed largely to policy failure.
Not largely. If you say largely, it means that some...
Yeah, because you are conceding that there will be some
attributable
losses.
To policy failure.
Okay, and they are pointing to those places.
Yes. So let's read it again.
Right,
because sometimes
now we can go.
Right. So let's read it again. These accounting losses partly reflect valuation effect rather than economic costs. Now let me take you back.
Let's interrogate that. Valuation effect rather than.
Yes. Okay. So it's that line is giving effect to the explanatory notes that precedes it. So I will go back to the point again. It says, in 2025, the significant scaling up of the domestic gold purchase operations led to losses of over $1.7 billion, equivalent of 1.5% of GDP, almost entirely related to the gold for reserve purchases. All right? This amounted to a loss of 17% of the value of the gold sold by BOG. Then it goes further. Losses accrued on gold trades are a combination of service and asset fees paid to Goldbod. Let me stop there. And
Goldbod has been mentioned.
it's there. It's not
as,
me.
As being directly responsible for some part of the loss.
With respect, Paul, it is not a minority. It is not Afenyo Markin. It's not Afenyo Markin targeting somebody. It is not Afenyo Markin with respect. Who
You see, the funny thing, Paul is leading. He's giving him the lead. He still cannot understand. MPP for Nakasa Mutini Kromontiasie. And this report was written by some 22-year-old college kid who works as an intern at the IMF. A whole minority leader is sitting on TV trying to understand that English. Yeah, Jimmy. You said gold sold by Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana did business with who? With Goldbod. Who raised the capital for Goldbod to do that business? Bank of Ghana. Who is the primary fundraiser? Bank of Ghana. Who sold the gold? Bank of Ghana. Who at the end of the day is the brain behind go buy and sell and bring back? Bank of Ghana. So why are we sitting here making it look like Bank of Ghana no onyeshi na yenim say Goldbod aboka? The question here is you have accepted that there's something called economic cost. How can Goldbod do business with Bank of Ghana and Goldbod ever for Bank of Ghana CKD? Now Bank of Ghana and Ankasa will keep quiet about it. Why are you not questioning Bank of Ghana? Because Bank of Ghana to their books are going to be checked. So if Bank of Ghana, their books are going to be checked, what stops them from telling you Goldbod stole their money or messed their money up? What is stopping Bank of Ghana? Because there's nothing there. And you yourself, you have admitted that there's something called economic cost. You were saying that you should not limit yourself. Economic cost is broad. So it does not matter how you define it. Send your chirim. Yakase economic cost, it covers a whole lot of things. It is yakase, you mention Goldbod ding, yakase a saying, and there. It all falls under economic cost. It's not because they mention Goldbod, because Bank of Ghana does not assay gold. They don't do a saying. It is Goldbod that does a saying. It is yakase. Cost way and a bar. If you are talking about Bank of Ghana or this Goldbod finished. Small boy be already by 25 or your intern. World IMF NHL report to win and Kwasiafo. There are two foolish men sitting there or say we didn't attempt. Then that is what he does. Afenyo Markin, he's dumb. And your noise no make it. When Sammy Jemfi makes a submission, not Afenyo Markin make a submission. Saturday or tonight with me, Sanka Sammy Jemfi na to Chechi Banka Ghana Dibiati as here. He's dumb. He doesn't want to understand the self. Wabong. Now, this is where he starts to play the victim. Now, watch this.
Today you are insulting Afenyo Markin, using unprintable words on my person, hiring social media people going to sit at studios of FM stations, TV stations, use vulgar language. The very thing that if you give them a snap, a Bible, a Quran to swear, whether it is true, they cannot. They are saying it for politics. I won't question you. I won't say anything. I won't sue you. But bear in mind that which you cherish melts. That one day, that is why in a noble society,
we ain't some of it because watching on the so. I mean, I know what's so damn red as and it's so bad in the Dumber media. But say issue.